Hi there. So this morning, my name's Connie. This is Life Over 70 with Connie. And I just wanted to go over with you cornbread. It's not the way I always make cornbread. It is cornbread that I have made in the past. And I don't know, can you get plagiarism from publishing someone else's recipe? Well, where I used to work one time, everybody just brought a dish or whatever, and then they would share with you the recipe. And so I got this recipe. It was handwritten out on notebook paper, and I liked it. My kids liked it, and so they asked me at another place I was working, you know, we're going to publish a cookbook. Please bring your recipes that you like. Okay, so I did. And this got published. So let me show it to you. This one is mine, the Jalapeño Cornbread. And it really was from a lady named Joanne. And she just wrote it down by memory. And that's what I've been using. This was another lady that she gave us, and that was pretty good. And if you're in a pinch, you can use that one too. But this one is by Jalapeño Cornbread, and we're going to make it. So, according to the instructions, hey, just a second. I've got a little thing, maybe it will hold it. How about that? I was really prepared, but we don't know. Okay, so what, I'm going to read it out loud at first, and then that way y'all maybe could help me memorize. It says, I hope that didn't fall in the water. Okay, it says you need to put it into an oven of 350 degrees and bake it for 1 hour. Now, this is gluten-free. I think it has baking powder. I don't know about gluten and baking powder. But, so first thing I'm going to do is tell you what it says to cook it into a 9-inch greased square pan. Well, when we moved and I got rid of a lot of things. Oh, wait just a minute. I have a Corningware square pan left that I saved, but I'm going to go ahead and use this. This is my daddy's. It was a iron skillet. It says number 8 on it, but when you turn it over, it just says that it is a 10.5-inch skillet, and it was made in the USA. And he told me, if you ever buy an iron skillet or anything made of iron, always get it made in the USA. He said because there's other places that make iron, but they use components and things and they don't work as well. And this is well seasoned. Now he used it for everything. Since I've had it from him from 98, I've only used it for the cornbread because it's really good. Now don't forget that if you use an iron skillet, that the handles are going to be extremely hot. Now this iron skillet is not as heavy as my Lodge. I have a Lodge brand, and it is extremely heavy, and it's a 10.5-inch too. But it does have a little holder at the other end. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the oven to 350, and we're going to put oil in here and put this in the oven. And so that way it'll be getting preheated right along with everything else. Now, I'm going to use extra light tasting olive oil for frying and baking. This is Filippo Barrio brand. I got this one at Tom Thumb, I think. But you always need to smell and taste your stuff because you don't want it to be rancid. I don't know if I did that well. So let me see, try this. I got this one yesterday. I couldn't find anywhere. Isn't that cute? It's got a little stopper too, okay. This one is a different brand. This is Bertolli, but it did say on the back for baking and frying. I always smell it. That's good. Just tastes like a slimy water. Okay. And I guess what I'll do is, before I get much started on down the road, is put on I don't usually wear these, but they are beneficial, believe me. If you have an apron, wear an apron. Even if you're washing dishes or anything. And this is left over from when I used to be a cook at a child care. Can you believe I cooked? Well, I did. For 286 kids was the amount that we had there in the summertime. That was a lot, plus the teachers and plus anybody else that dropped in. But it was in massive amounts, and we served it family style. And I got to make my own menus and find the foods for them, and along with being nutritional. Okay, so we're going to first turn on the oven to 350. And isn't that the cutest thing? It just defaults to 350. I guess that's the normal thing. Okay, I'm just going to coat this pretty good with this olive oil. So there's a guy on YouTube, and I don't remember his name, but I'll try to look him up. And I think he takes recipes and then he makes them his own, or he redoes them or something. Anyway, he got one of these things attached to his. Now, I couldn't quite figure out how to get it to attach. So I just put a clip on the end of my retractable clip there, and I'm going to just attach it to this. Now it's going to went right to the floor. That didn't work for me. Maybe I should do something else. Well, oh, that's what I'll do. I'll clip it here, but that's not going to help me as far as taking it away. Well, I'll have to research that and get back to y'all on how to do it efficiently, because maybe that'll put it right to the floor again. I was trying to attach it on the pocket. Okay, there's the pocket. All right. Let me get it attached. That clip is a little bit hard to do anyway. Ta-da! Can you see that? Boop, boop. Well, it's on there. Now I can just use it when I want to. All right, so I've got my oil. I just put some in there, and I'm going to go around the edge, all around. Now, I don't usually ever wash this one out, but if you do have, and when I store it with paper towels in between it. But if you do have to, just use hot water, no soap, and use a scrubber and scrub it out. And then after you towel dry it, put it on top of the burner and get it hot, let it cool. After it's cool, then you'll just put a little bit of oil back on it from a paper towel. That's all you have to do. Okay. Now, if you wanted a good crust on the outside of this, you would want to put a little bit more oil. and it would act like whenever you first put that first batter in there, like frying. But 350 is really not that much of a frying thing. I mean, you probably could, but I think we're just about at the right amount of oil. Okay, this is a nice little thing. Let me get rid of this. Probably find something I should use it for in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven, even though it's still preheating. And get out my hot pad holder, because we are gonna need it when we gotta get that out. All right, so since this is jalapeno cornbread, it does call for an onion that was grated. I did go ahead and grate that, and if you could smell it, it's written. And now I've got a bunch of water, and I didn't realize there was so much water in an onion, but it's grated. That, I think this is the first time I really followed the instructions, because before I just chopped it up. But I have gotten a grater in recent years, and so that's why. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the jalapenos. I've already washed them. And when you buy jalapeno, onion, garlic, any of those things, you always want to buy multiples. Even if you just need one, you need to buy multiples. I had 2 heads or pods of garlic in my pantry, and I got one out and I was using it, and I said, okay, I'm gonna get the other one out. And the other one was just a shell. It was just all eat up on the inside of nothing. I mean, and it was beautiful on the outside. And of course, garlic is light anyway, so you can't even tell whether you've got something in there or not. All right, to do jalapenos, now if you don't do this, that's your business. I one time was cooking some beans and at home, oh gosh, about 99, no, yeah, about 97, 99. And the beans were cooking, and I just chopped up some jalapenos and I threw them in there. And, you know, of course you taste it. I was hurting everywhere. My lips was hurting. My stomach was hurting. But I only just did a little taste, okay? But my hands were covered in them. Covered in it. Oh my God. I soaked them in milk. I rubbed it in salt. Soaked it in Coke. I mean, everything. It took just time for that to go away. Tomato juice, I can't remember all the things. I think we can call it poison control. But my hands were beet red from jalapenos. Just jalapenos. And so we're going to put that on. We're going to cut it. Now, if you don't want to use fresh, I use jar sliced jalapenos, and I have done that in a pinch if I didn't have fresh. Especially I was scared about fresh ones after that. So after you cut this open, I'm still scared even though I've got on these gloves. When you're in the store, you want to smell of them. And always pick it up by the stem if you possibly can. Don't just pick it up whole. And be sure you don't touch a baby. You know how mothers are always combing their baby's hair out of their eyes or getting sleep out of it or whatever. Be sure you don't do that. What if you're messing with peppers, even in the grocery store, you know, till you get home and get that really cleaned. Now, I was watching a guy that has a farm in Arizona, and he grows peppers, and he says that the heat is not in the seeds. He says that the heat is in these membranes, oops, right along the spine here, I mean right inside. So if you don't want it hot, if you just like the flavor like I do, get that part out. probably should have sharpened my knife before I started. Okay. Well, it's not coming out very well. Okay. And it just called for 1 jalapeno. It said, oh no, it said jalapeno peppers finely chopped. So, you know, if you're a big eater, then have lots. Okay, and I've heard that different tips was mild or not, but according to the guys, he said it's that membrane. So what I've learned to do is, you know, smell of it when you're in the store. If it smells really hot, it's going to be really hot. If it kind of smells like a bell pepper, it's going to be mild. Now I got me a little piece to taste. Just put it on my lip. And you'll know instantly that's burning. And that's hot. However, it went away already. So I think I could live with it. Because I have acid reflux and a bunch of other things. And they say that you probably need more acid. Is that the case? But, okay. So I'm going to leave that one over there. And I'm not going to put that much in here because it's just me. My husband doesn't usually eat cornbread. He would eat cornbread. He doesn't like peppers though. And he doesn't want cornbread now. Okay, so that was my second pepper. I'm going to put it somewhere in a minute. Here, get those out. Okay, if you have a compost pile, I guess the peppers are just as good in compost as not. But okay, I'm going to chop these up. It is a little hot. So I'm going to really go little. I may not use very much. Now, there are people that think that they're doing something by eating peppers and how hot they can eat them. And really? Why would you want to? That sounds like you're just trying to have pain for some reason. But if you ever have a gallbladder that gives you the acid and the bile back up, it's not pleasant. So you definitely don't want any more than you have to. I'm going to do a little bit more. I may not use this whole thing. And again, those pepper slices that you like to do nachos and stuff with, those pickled or jalapeno pepper slices, just cut those up. Those work really good. And they have a good flavor. And you can use as many or as little as you like. And the only reason I'm doing this is because it says by the recipe. That should be enough for me right now. I'll set those over there. I'll get me a Ziploc. Okie doke. Now, it calls for 1 pound of Longhorn cheese grated. Okay. I looked yesterday at H-E-B. I could not find one thing of Longhorn cheese. Now, I think they still have it. They might have it at Walmart. I didn't go to Walmart. They might have it at Randall's or Tom Thumb, and not there. They might have it at Kroger, but we don't have Kroger down here. Or I haven't found one. So, I saved it right now. And this, I just bought Sharp, but it says reduced fat. It's made with skim milk. You know, who would ever make reduced fat cheese? If you want something, use the whole thing. My, oh my. Okay. Now, if you're going to do cheese, Ray Drummond does too. She, Pioneer Woman, she grates her own stuff. Well, she may have somebody do it now because he's got to be so big. But there's no additives, you know, like cornstarch or some kind of flour or anti-caking agent in them. It's just the cheese. So I'm going to do some of this, and I might add some of this other. Now, if you're looking for some good cheese, Kraft has a Parmesan cheese in a package. Now, that's the way it was the last time I bought it. It was just cheese, Parmesan shaped cheese, grated. It didn't have anything added to it. It was just that. And it turned out pretty good, too. All right. I have to learn to look at where you are. And actually, I don't know where you are. So, there's some. Now, this is 8 ounces. How much is a pound? 16 ounces. That would be twice this amount. And this is 8 ounces. So it would be both of these things, which is a lot of cheese. I used to make and I might share that with you because I sure do like it, a rice casserole that takes cheese too. But okay. And because you're making it, you can add, do what you have to do, little, less, more. Now, if you don't like corn, if you're looking for being healthy, this is not your dish. I can tell you for sure. It has got corn, meal, corn. Did that go off already? It did. Gotta hurry up. My pan's in there hot. Actually, it got quicker than I thought. Okay. I might take some of this to eat a little bit. It's just good by itself. Yeah. So, you know, like anything, if you're prepared, you just go ahead and do your stuff ahead. Or if you don't really care if it's got a little bit of anti-caulking agent in it, you can buy grated all day long. But some places do just sell it and it doesn't have a caulking agent in it. So you can just read on it. Okay, so I've kept me a thing of water over here so I can wash my hands and other things. All right, we're getting down to it. I'm going to just use that part. I'm not going to quite put the whole pound in there. Didn't have it much jalapeno anyway. And again, it's just me. I don't know, I guess I could freeze this, I don't know. But I'll open it up. I'm going to write a book on things that are easy to open up for old people. Because it is hard. Some packaging is just hard. All right. I've got cheese and onions and jalapenos. Good going. All right, now that says mix the cornmeal, the milk, the oil, the eggs, the corn, the baking powder, and the salt together, and pour half of the batter into the greased pan, and then sprinkle the stuff on top, and then pour the rest of it and bake it for 1 hour. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and take that out for just a minute because I'm not ready. And it probably will be really hot. Well, it wasn't as hot as I expected. All right. Grab my stuff up here. Now, it says a large can of corn. And I looked, there was no large can of corn. So I got 2 small ones. But while I was looking, I found non-GMO corn. How about that? Del Monte has a non-GMO corn. Well, I thought that was a thing of the past. But accordingly, that would be a good thing. Also, I was looking for cornmeal. Growing up, Quaker or Aunt Jemima was what we used always. Bought a bag, bought a thing. We had cornbread every meal. We'd make 1 pan for 3 people. We would eat half the pan one day, and then we had the next one the next day. So every other day, we were making cornbread. Same thing with beans, pinto beans, lima beans, navy beans, but pinto beans mostly. But while I was up there, this is Go Texan. That means that it's made in Texas. It's from Texas. And it's stone ground, it's lambs, and it's stone ground, but it does not say non-GMO. But that's, hey, it's all natural, no preservatives, and gluten-free. And I was going to use it, but I looked in the pantry, and I have some cornmeal that says it used before November the 19th. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. And it said to use. And whenever I was growing up, we always had to look in our cornmeal for bugs. Because that was the norm. Because they did not use fertilizers and stuff on the fields. And so the bugs are naturally in the corn and stuff, and even whenever it's all dried up, then they hatch and they come out. But I don't see any in there. Do y'all? No. Okay, so it says 1 cup of yellow cornmeal, and this is a cup. So my grandmother would just, guess I could take off my gloves now. Okay, 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 large can of cream style corn, but we're going to use 2 because we can. And if you do not wash the tops of your cans before you open them, you have to do that. Because, they've got all sorts of things that they go through before they get from the canning place to you. Different people, different things. You don't know. At night, does those little critters come out and run over? I don't know. So this is a swing line can opener. I have several. My daughter bought me a safety one. This is a swing line can opener. Guess I could turn this other light on. Yeah. Swing line. And it's nice size. And 1964, that was so long ago, I got one at I think it was either Safeway or Buddy's, and that was my can opener. And I used that until, well, I got this one, because the other one had just worn down to nothing. And I do usually recycle these things. And but I used it for a hammer when I first got there. I didn't have tools, but I would put up picture frames or hammer. But now this one is made differently. It's not as heavy as the one that I did, so I haven't been using this one for a hammer. It is just a can opener. But I like it a lot. There's nothing supposed to be anything that rusts on here. See why you wash that? See, that just fell right in there. And you don't want any yucky in your stuff. So, I'm just trying to wash that off so I can use it. All right. So, now we're going to do 2 cans. I think 28 ounces. So, I might be about right. These 2 cans of cream style corn. They might be a little bit, what do you call it? Soupy. That looks more soupy than usually. Let me tell you, if y'all like corn, like whole kernel corn, corn on the cob, and it's not in season, bird's eye, all of bird's eye frozen vegetables, that's where you should invest your money, because bird's eye were the first ones to come up with the freezing, how to freeze their foods, the flash feed, and they are the freshest tasting. You get your money's worth whenever you get bird's eye. Okay, and it says 1 cup of milk. Well, I wasn't paying attention, and I may have not enough milk, but we'll see. Look at this. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yay for me. Yay for y'all. I wish I could share this with you. I could share it with my son-in-law, my daughter-in-law, my daughter, because they're close. All right. So now then, it says a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Well, we used to have baking powder on the shelf all the time, and actually, I don't even know if it had an expiration date on it. But, and I'd keep one because, you know, you just use it a little bit by a little bit. Oh my goodness, I can't read what size that is. This is a 1/2. Okay, where's the baking powder? Oh, too close for comfort. Anyway, this one does say that it's expired. I got this after we got here. It doesn't expire until 21. I did buy a new one yesterday, just in case. And it was a store brand. All right, and a 1/2 cup of salad oil. Yeah, I know. Well, used to, whenever we had Crisco, it was a blend. It was corn oil and canola oil and different things, but they didn't. Olive oil was still over there in Italy. It wasn't over here when I was growing up. But I looked at yesterday all of the vegetable oils. Do you know what the vegetable oil is? Go ahead, you can guess. Soy. Everything I picked up was soy. Unless it said canola, then it was all soy. There was a blend, but it was all soy. Now, what was going on with that? I don't know. Makes you wonder. Okay, that one. And it says a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Well, I keep a 1/4 teaspoon measure in here, so we'll just put 2 of those in there. Okay. 2 eggs. Okay. Now these are those Happy eggs that are really good. Cost $6 a dozen, $5.99. I mean, you might be able to get them at the Natural Grocer or Sprouts for $4.99, or sometimes they have them on sale. But you get what you pay for in eggs, I can tell you that for sure. Unless you can find somebody that's local and you have a good local person that has eggs. I mean, I remember my dad going out there way outside of Irving. A lady had a farm. she raised eggs. We go buy a case of eggs, and I think he paid $3.50 a case or $6, and then he shared them with my grandmother and grandfather and the people across the street. So that turned out pretty good. All right. So we got the cornmeal, the cream style corn, the milk, the baking powder, the oil, the salt, 2 eggs. Okay, that's what we're supposed to mix up. Seems a little watery. That might be why you have to cook it for so long. Why you need all that cheese. I may have to give up some more of my cheese, huh? Yeah, that's why. I'm sure of it. Well, if you don't have one of these bowls with a handle, now I had a Tupperware bowl that I got when I was 16 from a wedding gift, and I liked it. And then, you know, it had the measures on the outside. I used that forever. I mean, but Tupperware does have a tendency to stain after a while. And if you put tomato sauce in something, it does have a tendency to do that. I mean, I use that bowl. I have 1 frying pan and 1 saucepan and another club aluminum pan that I cooked beans in. That was it. I didn't have a set of pots and pans when I was growing. When I first came into the world of having a home on your own. Somebody gave me a chafing dish with a pretty silver tray and a thing, and I was like, you know, how am I going to do that? I don't know. Okay, so I'm trying to see that it's all stirred up. Feels like it is pretty well stirred up. Yeah, that's why you need the cheese. I didn't remember it being so runny. And I don't know why they make me grate I don't remember grating it. I probably just chopped my onions. Okay. I see you. Alrighty. Is that still hot? That's still hot. We're gonna have to put this over here so we can build our playhouse. Now, this did not, I took it out earlier because I felt like it was going to be too hot for me to mess with doing all my layering. But normally, I would have just kept it in there. If it's regular cornbread, it'd be like 450, 425, something like that. And then I would have done that. All right, so we're going to put half of this in here. And it is pretty watery. I guess that's about half. Eyeball in here. And then you layer your onions. Maybe it did need to be grated. And maybe it did take the water out of the onions. Because, man, I don't know if you can see that. But it has a lot of water. Guess I could use water juice, onion juice into something else. Yes, I'm here. I'm not talking, but I'm here. Okay. I'm just going to show you, if I could, how much there was from that. Look at this. That was one onion. That was a lot of juice. So somebody was saying, you know, well, you need to have water in your diets, but you'd be surprised how much water you get from your foods. Well, I can see that right there. That's for sure. Oops, don't have my gloves on. But I think we're going to be all right with this. Now this stuff is so good, or I hope it is, in years past it was. And, you know, when it comes out, it's going to be too hot to eat. And it's better when it kind of congels back. So, keep that in mind. So this one is the Colby and Colby Jack. It's shredded Colby and Monterey Jack. That was 8 ounces. And here's not quite another 8 ounces. And, you know, if you wanted to do pepper jack cheese, make it your own. Play with it. See if you like. You may not even like this. Maybe you want more cornmeal. Maybe you want less cornmeal. Maybe you can find a large can of cream-style corn instead of having to do 2. I think I probably should have just had, I don't know, I thought it was 28 ounces, but maybe it wasn't. I found a large can of hominy is the reason I was saying that. All right, now that's pretty full. If I was a 9 by 9, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all that in there. And I can tell you, I do not want it coming over on my stove, in my oven. Now you're supposed to top it. Cover the rest of it. You know, I put that extra can in there. And that might have been why it's a little bit full. Well, I do not want that coming out on my brand new stove. I'll tell you that for sure. So when we went to move, clean the stove. Well, you know, that's hard to do now. But I did find an easy off for self-cleaning ovens. And so, hey, there's nobody like a old fool. And so I just thought I knew how to do it. However, I did not know how to do it. And I wasted a whole pan and I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed. So finally I sat down and I read the instructions. You know what? That was the easiest stuff in the world when you read the instructions. Read the instructions, that works. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the oven. Just in case that decides to come up and over. Sure hope not. That's still a little bit warm, but I think I got it. Let's just be sure. Better pull that out so I can set it on there. At least if it falls out, it'll be on the cookie sheet. That's pretty full. Well, I certainly hope that's big enough. Maybe I better get another one. Find a bigger cookie sheet. That's probably the same size. Yeah, it's not any bigger. Well, I want to say a little thing. Thank you for all you've given me, but please let it stay in the pan, not in the oven. Thank you. You watch all these people. Oh, 1 hour. Okay, Google, set timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, and we're starting now.
Okay, good. I've got a little bit of corn mixture here. I was going to tell you something. I guess I could turn you off and then come back in a little bit and see. Now, I wanted beans to go with this, obviously. But if you like cooking beans, I have a Instant Pot that I have not tried yet. My daughter, my niece, she puts hers in just a crock pot and just, regular dry pinto beans, and when she comes back, then they're good from work. But I don't know that mine would ever come out that way. My daddy always, and my mother, we just did it a fast thing. You picked them, you washed them, and then you put them in the water, covered them, put them on the stove, and you started boiling them. And you watched them, because I smoked up a house one time when I wasn't watching them. I went off and did something, came back, and they were just doing their thing, and well, it burned right down to the bottom and ruined the pan. And so you have to be there. You want it in a big, thick, heavy pan, and you're constantly cooking it. 2.5 hours is a small amount of time to cook them. And then we always put salt pork in there, but if you're against pork, you can always put hamburger meat in there. We've done that before, hamburger and garlic and onions, and just kind of made it. It wasn't really a stew, it was just a mixture, and it was good. But you do want to stay with it. But if you want a good flavor, let me tell you what. Sorry. Trying to do something. Hurry. Now I know that everybody's got their own store brands, but Bush's is good. They're good. So Bush's pinto beans are really good. And I can open up this can and show you, and they taste great. Now, I do have a problem, I guess we all do. The enzymes in here are really good for your intestines. They are, but unless they're really tender, the skins and everything, they're a problem. But I just put this in a pan. I do add water to it, and then I simmer it down to where the water has evaporated back out, because I like soup. I really like bean soup, and I have taken these small cans and put them in the blender and then heated it up and put it over my cornbread, and that is good. That is really good. But if you want just beans, you can just open up Bush's beans, add a little water, simmer it, do like you wanted to. Eat them out of the can if you have to. But these are really good, and that's what I'm going to fix later to go with my cornbread. All right, so I'm going to let this cook. I'll come back and show you what it looks like in just a minute, or in an hour I'll be back. So I'm going to turn you off right now. And don't forget, subscribe, watch, like, share. But if you don't like it, okay. This is not someplace that's going to be for wholly, healthy, financial. It's just life. This is the way it is. It's just life. So if you want to come and watch and enjoy, okay. I hope you do enjoy. But I'm going to turn you off right now. I'll be back.